you always have had, as long as I've known you, have had a relationship to visual and conceptual art. You know, long-standing collaboration with Joni Jonas, relationship with Adrian Piper, Theastric Gates. You know, I wonder if, I mean, you know, also visiting your home and seeing all the art on the walls that basically are made by your friends, you know. And so this ongoing conversation that's been a major part of your life for a long time, I wonder if you could talk about how that's influenced these kinds of choices about this work.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of it, I think my wife Alicia and I kind of always, or I know personally, we always yearned or had the myth about what the Harlem Renaissance was. Mm-hmm. And so who were your people that, you know, who was around you? Yeah. Who were you around? I'm sorry. And so was it Langston Hughes? Mm-hmm. So do you know poets? Okay. Right. You know, then do you know artists? Do you know choreographers? Yes. Then do you know fashion designers? Right. And do you know carpenter? You know, like, who is the community that kind of helps make a world that everyone can kind of rotate around? And had a myth about what Duke Ellington was living, you know, and had also a myth as a person who moved to New York in '93, like, well, that's what I want. I live uptown. I want to also have this community. Because I feel like the work of Ellington is such because of who his community is, not because of who he is. I mean, you know, but it's the people that are around him. It's, you know, Aaron Douglas making the record cover for him. I mean, you know, like these kinds of things like aren't. Wait a minute. So that's kind of what I learned. And over time, I think in New York, like going to see a lot of shows, just as a fan, going to see a Bruce Nauman show because he freaks me out, you know, but in the best way possible, you know, and seeing that as a jazz student, then how can I make sense of his clown pieces, or how can I make sense of these casts of his face, you know? How does that then show up in this world? Like, that's kind of what I was curious about, and the more and more artists I've met, then I would have these conversations about how they dealt with material. I mean, Whitfield Lavelle, for instance, is a very close friend of Alicia and I, very close. He and his partner, Fred Wilson, are very important to who we are as a couple, just as a couple. So to be in a room, it's like very heavy for us. It's not just that it's there. It's that we saw that piece when he was making it in his apartment. In his apartment, not his studio, in his apartment, you know? And I know the conversation that she and I had. I know she's about to cry.
I'm totally about to have.
The conversation we had in front of that piece was really real. I mean, it was very real.